authority, still the free press perspective to Washington, D.C. So we'd like to invite those people on the stage. Also, there's Dan Dugan. Dan and I do a show called The Other Side of the News, 5:30 live on Friday. And we cover WGRN 94.1. So, let the walkers come forward. I understand they put in 25 miles already today. And we're honored to turn our time over to them. I also want to be honored to turn over a lot of land in Ohio as Native American land. And that should be one of the things we fight for, the return of Native American land to the state. So let me hand you over to the one of the longest walkers, and that tradition will continue.
Good afternoon. We're walking. My name is Michael Lay. I'm from the Menominee Nation. And we're going to introduce some of the other walkers that are with us today. And then we're going to explain to you what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and hopefully some of you may want to come and do it. Anyways, here's, this is my right, Sharon.
Greetings. Tēnā rā koutou katoa, nā mihi kia koutou katoa. Ko mainga pohatu, ko mainga ko ohi te mataroa te awa, ko tūho te iwi, ko Sharon, Rose, Ita, ahai. Kia ora. I just introduced you in my native language from Aotearoa, New Zealand, where I was born and raised. I introduced you in relationship to my mountains, Naga Pohatu, to my rivers, Ohi ne Mataroa, to one of my tribes, which is Tūho. Kia ora koutou katoa. It is such an honour and a pleasure to meet you all today. Thank you to the organisers for this calm festival. Yes, thank you. I am a member of, I am a walker. Just a walker on the longest walk, we shall continue 2019. And this is my third walk across the country. My first walk was when in 2008 we came to Columbus, and I went with my husband Michael and our daughters, 3 daughters at the time, who were twins were 9 and our eldest was 15. And we walked to DC. And I'm very honoured and grateful to be able to be a part of that walk. And the only reason why I was a part of that walk was because I did not know that my husband was the original walker in 1978. And here we are as a family walking in 2009. So I really want to emphasise as a mama and as a grandma that it was for me and for us a family walk as well. It's on family. In 2013 I was also on the walk, longest walk, return to Alcatraz, beginning from Washington DC and ending in the island of Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay. With the family, the twins had grown up by then until about teenagers, yeah. So I've been a part of that walk as well. And now this is my third walk, 2019, and all our daughters are grown up. They're 26 and 20, so I'm naughty.
There it goes.
One of the issues that I walk for on this walk, one of the 11 issues, and it's the first issue, is that I walk and pray for native, to support the native children of this land, especially the native children who are locked up in cages in the southern border. As a mother and as a grandmother, I cannot sleep very good at night time, and so I have committed and sacrificed 5 months of my life right now to walk and pray for those children who are locked up in cages at the border.
What's up? My name is Carl Badger Sampson. I'm Pike in Western Shoshone from Nevada, Northern Nevada, and I started in California a week after they left Alcatraz Island, and I've been on the walk ever since. On this 5-month journey, and we got 15 more walking days left, and 382 miles left to Washington, D.C.
Our side walker here, Abigail, just joined up a couple days ago, so she's a little bit shy from date, but she agreed to move some of the way, so that's always appreciated. So what I'm going to talk a little bit about right now is what we're walking about. Some of you may have heard of the original longest walk in 1978. And at that time, there were 11 bills in Congress that would have eliminated certain rights, one of them being abrogation of all Indian treaties. At that time, some of you may have heard of Dennis Banks. Him and a few other people in the Bay Area organized the original longest walk. And they didn't organize it as a protest walk. They didn't organize it as some form of, counter-revolutionary activity or anything like that. They organized it as a spirit affirmation of indigenous sovereignty based on our traditional spiritual beliefs, our land-based spiritual beliefs. And you have to understand that when we talk about land-based spiritual beliefs, we're not talking about, airy-fairy kind of stuff. It's hard. It's hard to walk that way. It's hard. And since that time, none but one of those bills ended up passing, but the issues continued. When we were in Washington, D.C., a Muskogee elder named Philip Deere, one of the things he said was that we were continuing to walk and walk and walk until our native rights are recognized. And so here we are. Here we are. The longest walk we shall continue. We came through here in 2008 on the longest walk to Northern Route. And the place that we had the most contentious issue with was the Columbus Police Department. Some of you may have heard of this police department. And at that time, we were told we were jaywalking and walking without a parade permit, the only place in the country, and they had about 20 or 30 police converge on us. And I almost got shot in the head for jaywalking. So when the security came around and he got slammed to the ground and arrested. And that was our welcome to Columbus back in 2008. Then we came through here again in 2013, and we were liaising with some various parties. And then they had a car follow us. And it turned out the officer was from Venezuela. And we were invited to circle up when we finished at the day. And he said, "No, I can't. I'm on duty." Because we had smudge, sage. And we had to assure him that sage is not a hallucinogenic drug that he could participate. So that's a very different experience. And we just walked through Columbus last night and today, and we're out by Hebron. Now when we say we walk, we carry a sacred staff. And that staff has medicine on it that was blessed on Alcatraz Island. Alcatraz has a lot of significance because of the occupation in '69. So a lot of ceremonies happen on Alcatraz on a regular basis. And that medicine, we call it medicine, was made there on Alcatraz. And we say every step is a prayer. And we carry that staff every step of the way. Not every other step, every step of the way. When we walk to a certain place, we retire the staff at night, we go to where we're camping, we come back and start the next day. Yesterday evening, we finished over by the JC Apartments over there on 5th and Main, and we went to Hebron today. We got an early start so we could be here today. If I fall asleep in the next 15 minutes or no, and we did 25 miles. And that's what we're going to be averaging the next 15 days. If anyone wants to come and help us with that, it's all good. because we're walking about 11 issues. And we encourage you to look at those 11 issues. You don't have to like us. You don't have to like the movement. You don't have to like anything, but learn about those issues. Because here's the reason we're walking. As a spiritual walk, we're following the route of the 78th law. And these 11 issues are very important. And we're not going to D.C. to put our hat in hand to Congress. We're not going to D.C. to put our hat in hand and have a photo op with that orange shirt dude over there. We're not going to D.C. for any of those things. We don't want a certificate unless I get one for cat herding. Other than that. But what we want to do is we want communities to talk about those 11 issues. We want you to think about what those 11 issues are. We want Columbus to look at those 11 issues, have a meeting at the same day we get to D.C. on the 15th and say, what can we do to strategize, to find common ground, and find solutions to these issues? Because the solutions, they're going to come from those other people. They're going to come from people like yourselves, or you're indigenous or non-indigenous. What are we going to do about those 11 issues? Some of those issues are quite serious. Well, they're all quite serious. We're walking and putting ourselves through all this ordeal. And one of those issues that we're talking about that Sherry mentioned is protecting indigenous and Indian children. And there's about 3 different parts to that. And it's the #1 issue. And the first part is the Indian Child Welfare Act was passed in 1978, and it protected Indian children from the multi-million-dollar adoption industry. Prior to that act, the different adoption agencies would do deals with different states, and there would be wholesale adoption of Indian children, whether it was merited or not. It doesn't mean that non-Indians can no longer adopt Indian children. It simply meant that tribal courts had jurisdiction. And they want to do away with that on the pressure of the wholesale adoption industry. And the grounds that that legal decision was made in the Northern District Court in Texas was that state rights trumped tribal sovereignty. Can I get the pun? But that was how they actually made that ruling. It's now in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal. However it turns out there, it will go to the Supreme Court. So it will be Trump appointees that decide whether or not tribal sovereignty continues to exist. Some of you, let's say, see this goes over. Anyone seen the Avengers Affinity game? No? Oh, got 2, 3. There's something called the Thanos snap where you wipe out half the universe. That's how what would happen to tribal sovereignty. The Supreme Court ruled in the favor of the states that are pressing for the elimination and non-constitutionality of the Indian Child Welfare Act. So if that's upheld, no more tribal sovereignty. Over almost 200 years of legal precedent will be overturned. And it really hinges on Kavanaugh and Gorsuch. So it's kind of a thin red line, as it were. And so we need to be very wary of that. We need to be very concerned about that. Because in the past, if they had terminated tribal sovereignty, just so you understand, does not come from the United States government. It does not come, it's not granted to us. It doesn't come from treaties. All those things recognize tribal sovereignty as something that is inherent. That means it's natural, it was born to it. It existed before the United States. And the legal decisions I'm talking about were called the Marshall Trilogy, and those legal decisions established that the United States recognized tribal sovereignty, but did not create tribal sovereignty. Important to understand, because this is what they want to overturn. This is what they could overturn in one fell swoop. And this is why we're walking. And I'm tied to that. When we talk about defending Indian children from that rapacious industry, we're also talking about almost 15,000 children being held in prison camps on the southern border. If they're held in prison camps for no reason that it could possibly validate they're being held in a prison camp, it is obscene. It is an obscenity. And most of those children are indigenous. They may not be from the United States of America, but they are indigenous children from these lands in Central and South America. And when they turn 18, they go to a regular prison. It's a very serious issue, and yet it's way under the radar. We've just noticed recently it's starting to come into the news cycle when the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went down there. But it's something that we encourage you all to learn about, try to do something about it. We're encouraging people to find that common ground on July 15th and get to DC. And it's not about us, it's about you, the community. That's what we're really wanting to emphasize, about you, the community. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? We're working for some other issues too. The usual ones about alcohol and other drugs. There's some obscure legal stuff going on that people don't know about. I'm not going to bore you all with that stuff or anything, but learn about those issues as well. But some of them are environmentally related. Some talk about just transition to a renewable energy economy. And one of them talks about protecting indigenous knowledge, which is under threat because they're trying to turn it into a commodity, something that can buy and sell so they can do carbon trading, which is probably the next big issue out there in terms of environmentalism and climate change. So all these issues are important. And when we walk, we're walking along a certain route. We're walking along history. And it's about reclaiming that history as well. Because when we were through Kansas, which used to be Indian territory, we went to places with Indian names where there were no Indian people left. They've been moved. And where were they moved from to get to Kansas, to get to Oklahoma? They were moved from land in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. And where are they now? They're no longer in Illinois, Indiana, or Ohio. They were moved. So we're literally walking through history. How many of you have been on Highway 40 and know that it was called the National Road, that they assert how it supported westward expansion and the settlers going west? We had a ceremony into the Arch in St. Louis, countering Manifest Destiny. And then we went to Kokia Mound, the sacred site. And these walks aren't easy to do. When we were in Kansas, we went to one place and it was flooded. And we had to find a way around, and we walked through the back roads, and the back roads turned into really back roads, and then we climbed a flooded creek, and then we were across country. And we also discovered something else in Kansas. Open range still exists. We were walking with hundreds of cattle, not fenced in. And that was kind of interesting. And then we got stuck in a creek, and you know what we said? We shall continue, because I can assure you, AAA wasn't coming out there. And we hit the next flooded area, and with the same thing, we had to find a way around it. We were in the Sierra Mountains. We couldn't get over a certain pass on Highway 50. One of our walkers snowshoed over that. So when we say we carry that staff every step of the way, we ain't kidding. We take no shortcuts. We take no shortcuts, because this walk is about we shall continue. No matter what they do to us, we shall continue. And so this is an important thing to understand what this walk's about and why we're doing it. And it's important for you to start thinking about why we're doing it, not for us, but for yourselves. Because when they start taking our children, whose children are they going to take next? It could be yours. It could be your grandchild. It could be your niece or nephew. So just be aware that this is not the end. This is the beginning of certain actions. And unless you stand up for it now, your family could be next. And something to think about. It's quite serious. The other major issue we're talking about is honoring and respecting Indigenous women. A lot of you have heard of missing and murdered Indigenous women by now. Why are they missing and murdered? Because of an institutional disrespect and dishonoring of Indigenous women that dates back centuries, that have been institutionalized in American society. It's time we change that mindset collectively. We're not going to do it overnight, but it needs to happen in our families, it needs to happen with our relatives, it needs to happen in our communities. We have to change the mindset. And that's one of the other reasons we're walking, to change that mindset. We faced some other obstacles because we had some people that were LGBTQ on the walk. Never been an issue before, and all of a sudden some people are trying to make it an issue. And we stand with those, our relatives who are LGBTQ as well, because there's a lot of room in American Indian traditions for people that happen to be what we call two-spirit in various different ways. And so that's another issue that's come up when we've been on this walk. In any event, we're used to questions and answers, but this kind of format doesn't really do that well. But at the end of the day, I was going to ask, I know his name is Rudy, and I was asking to pass the hat if anyone's interested. Now, we're not one of those people that will ask for your last $20. 18 will do us just fine. But if you're interested in learning more information, we encourage you to go to our Facebook site for the longest walk we shall continue. And because it was an experiment that didn't work out, or someone doing an individual site, look for the one that's a closed group with a picture of 3 men walking forward. That's the site you want to go to. And then you will be admitted to that site. You want to look at the 11 issues. If you want to find out where we're going to be, if you want to come out for a day, you want to come out for a week, 2 weeks. I'm sorry, I can't do much more than that. It's like 15 days left. You want to come out to DC. We want to organize a community meeting. We're organizing a webpage for that, for the 15th, where communities can submit their thoughts and their strategies regarding the 11 issues. Oh, we can do questions and answers apparently. Would anyone like to ask a question?
All right. Anyone with a question?
Really, don't be shy. And I was looking for a sound engineer, and maybe they might have a portable mic with wireless. Is there one?
Give me a second.
Okay, just be aware I don't have a little pamphlet, but the first issue that we're walking about is protecting Indian and Indigenous children. The second issue is honoring Indigenous women. The 11th issue is confronting alcohol and other drug abuse. Then there's some other ones. No, one of the issues that we're looking at is in terms of contaminated sites, is inequitability and cleanup. For example, the Church Rock spill in '79 was probably one of the largest nuclear disasters anywhere that probably anyone heard of, and they're still trying to clean it up. And the funding that they get for that cleanup is significantly lower than other sites in non-indigenous communities. So we're looking for equitability in terms of cleanup. Another issue is just transition, indigenous just transition. There's a whole framework of that. It's not about smashing capitalism or embracing socialism, whatever that may be, but it's following an indigenous way of economics, in which the framework isn't just economics, but quality of life as well, based on traditional values. Another issue has to do with overturning the plenary power doctrine. That's the obscure one that hardly no one knows about, but it's really important because that was from a legal decision of U.S. v. Kagama that said that Congress has authority over Indian affairs, and so we can't go to court since that decision in 1886 and say, well, Congress is doing something unconstitutional. For most people, if Congress passed an act, you can go to court, it can be found unconstitutional. Not in Indian country, we can't say something's unconstitutional because it's assumed under that legal doctrine that Congress has Indian best interest at heart no matter what they say. So that needs to be overturned. People need to learn about that. The termination policy in the 1950s, the termination policy where they said Indian tribes no longer existed for certain tribes, 105 were targeted, most of them were scorned, and yet we're still living with termination era policy with something called Public Law 280, which in some states gives the state's jurisdiction over Indian tribes for criminal and civil matters. And that's another issue we're trying to bring up. Yeah, we like to protect sacred sites. That's a good thing. And that was a law in 2008. So that's another one. Oh yeah. And the threat to the indigenous knowledge threat is huge. It's tied in with the carbon shredding stuff and what's going on in the United Nations work, where they're trying to say that indigenous knowledge can be bought and sold. So if they say, well, before when they would say, we don't believe in your indigenous knowledge, now they say, we believe in your indigenous knowledge, and we're sorry we're going to trample over it, so here's the money. They're trying to turn it into principal right so that you can't take a claim. looking at Indigenous sovereignty and the threats to Indigenous sovereignty, so what's called the termination agenda, where 4 nation states, Canada, New Zealand, US, and Australia, are determining Indigenous policy and turn us into corporate and municipal entities rather than as Indigenous sovereign nations. That's another issue. They say some of them are kind of complex. I think that's most of it. Yeah, we want spiritual freedom. That's all good too. Okay. Any other burning questions?
And also,
oh yeah. And we'll see if a rabbit comes out at the end. And it's important to know that I lost 2 teeth on this walk. So that just.
what's going to sing a song?
Oh, and Banner will sing a song. Getting ready. Is there any other questions?
Any other questions? Remember, it was Andrew Jackson who, after the decision, in which Chief Justice Marshall was made the law, let him enforce it. So we hope the trail clear. So Andrew Jackson, of course, got in trouble today on versus the slaveholder. That's why the money issue, of course, on the $90 bill is so important. Other questions for the walk? In 1992, when Dennis Banks and Logo were here, we attempted to seize the Santa Maria, Columbus, Ohio, built a replica, spent a ton of money on a slave ship. Also, a few years later, the Native Americans in this area went down there with chains and demanded to be chained in the hole because the Santa Maria represented the first slave ship. So they wanted students who were coming down to see what that slave trade was really about. And get it, they know what they're going
So then it comes here.
Yeah.
Last chance. We're going to be walking away here. So that's a fun. Last chance. If you have any questions, we are going to go east to DC. Tomorrow we're going to be walking from Hebron to Zanesville. Yeah, we'll make it to Zanesville tomorrow. And then from there, I think it's to Cambridge. Then it's a couple days to Wheeling. Then we're going to Somerset. And then we're going to Chambersburg. And from Chambersburg, we're going to cut down to DC. No. It's kind of fluid. We're going to be staying, the next stay place is going to be at the Confront State Park. We've had two gracious hosts, Rudy and Elizabeth, have hosted us for the last three or four nights. And also our little dog, Smiley. And we'll be staying at South Fork State Park if you want to visit us there next. And then we stayed there in 78 and 2013 and 2008. Yeah, we do have time for that. We've already done our 25 miles today because we found out that when it's 90 plus degrees with ozone alerts, it's best to get up early and walk. Thank you very much. So, any other questions? Rudy? Well, you know, we walk through rain or snow or sleet or ice. We're kind of like the U.S. Postal Service used to be. And we keep on going. We walk through thunderstorms. When we finally cleared all the flooded area, we've got all about tornado alerts. And look around, look all right. When the thunder starts getting a bit close, we better circle up. And we drove to past a small town. These sirens went off. I think that's a tornado warning. So a tornado was coming, so we had to take shelter in a local Methodist church. And we passed out the cookies that belonged to them. True story. So we walked through tornadoes because we shall continue. We shall continue. Any other burning questions?
Other questions?
Smoldering questions are okay too. If you don't have a burning one, smoldering.
The aspect of the no DAPL for the pipelines, I know that one of the issues that has concerned me is the actual charging people and changing laws at state levels to actually be able to arrest and charge people that are protesting, which actually seems a violation of our Constitution, and getting support at judicial levels of GOP and conservative administrations to do that. How, as a community here in Columbus, which supposedly is supposed to be Democratic driven, but our council members and county Democrats party doesn't seem to represent the people. But barring that, as a community member, what can we do, in regards to what's going on in other states?
The issue is that they're passing laws in certain states to make it basically a criminal behavior to protest against pipelines and such. Well, a lot of that is symbolic action. It's doubtful that some of them could be held up in court. What's important to remember with DAPL, the Dakota Access Pipeline, a lot of people were arrested for rioting. But to actually be engaged in rioting, you have to have 5 or more people engaging in violent and disruptive behavior. And they never had 5 or more people engaging in violent or disruptive behavior. Therefore, no one was actually committing rioting. They just needed an excuse to do 2 things. 1, to arrest a lot of people, but B, to justify the militarized police force action that they took. Because without the rioting, they couldn't have done it. So, what's happening now with this legislation is part and parcel of the same thing. They're passing the legislation to scare people from exercising their First Amendment rights. And those First Amendment rights for West Indian people aren't just their freedom of expression for protest, but also for practice of our spiritual faith. What we're doing now is a spiritual walk. We carry that sacred staff every step. The protocols that people come that no alcohol, no drugs, and we expect people to honor them. And so if they try to interfere with us, they're not just violating our civil rights, they're violating our spirituality as well. And the same thing happened in Standing Rock, and the same thing happened in many other places, where Indian spirituality takes a back seat to other forms of spirituality. And it's happened with different texts. I don't want to get into too legalistic, but there's a couple of decisions that some people groups make decisions from new lawyers or protective orders out there, where the freedom of religion is sacrosanct except for Indian people practicing land-based traditional spiritual beliefs. So these are some of the things we're looking at, thinking that those legislations linked to that as well. Just saying.
First, can we give a lot of noise for these people that have been watching? My name's Elizabeth. I live over in Franklin. A lot of us aren't familiar with Indigenous rights issues. They've been popping up a lot because of the different resistance camps like Standing Rock. And we have our own issues here in the state. We have our own battles here in the state with the laws and policies, every corporation. We have it here. And we have organizations here who are empowering individuals of our community, like the Columbus Community Bill of Rights Workshop. We have that going on, and that's about like a few hours of your time to really get into what is the history of our state and like how we've gotten entrenched in these issues. That's the first thing to say. Go on your question. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that, yeah, we don't have Indigenous reservations here. They're not in our forefront of our mind. So we don't, a lot of Ohioans think that Native Americans are gone. And that's not true. We just have them as our emblems at our schools. So we can continuously press our institutions and education, our businesses, our banks, each other to do better for these people because we do have Native people in our state. There's massive relocations to Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton, and we gotta be there for those people. They are here, and we have Native centers around the state, so if you can send your money, send your time, and they would be super appreciative. Well, that's all I wanted to say.
Hi guys, I met our walkers. We just had an event called Doctrine near Fort Ancient, and I met them there because I was the youth coordinator there, and we had a walk in Cincinnati on the Purple People Bridge to bring our people together and to bring our children and our communities together to build our communities stronger. We brought people from South Dakota, we brought people from New Zealand, we brought people from Australia, we brought Indigenous people from all over, so that way that our communities, not just here in Ohio, but our communities everywhere across the Machine or Mother Earth, to bring all of them together so that we did become strong. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I was born and raised here, pretty much been here my whole life. And the one thing that I struggled with the most was being an Indigenous person and learning how to use my voice in a good way. And to learn how to use my voice and to get other people to follow me. And the opportunities that we have to have these people around and the opportunities that we have to learn from not just the longest walk and not just about Leonard Peltier, but also about how our communities here, our Indigenous communities here are affected. A lot of the people that I grew up with, a lot of the people that I say that are my family and that, they helped raise me just like my mom. We struggle with drugs and alcohol and just outside images of who we actually are. I went to a high school where their mascot was a bird, but I refused to actually say that I went to that high school. I refused to play sports there. I refused to do all of these things because I knew that the image of myself and my people was more important. And, if we come together and we start, when we keep fighting the good fight and we support the longest walk and we support, all of our people, then that's all that's going to matter. And if we focus on our future generations and we focus on our children and we teach our children, what's right and what's a good way to be respectful and to be honorable to everybody on this earth, that's where we start. We don't have to start You know, in a year, in a month, we can start today. We can leave this tent today with a new mind, saying that we need to teach our children how to love one another, because that's the only way that this is going to change. You need to tell me.
All right, wrapping up, check out Malcolm J in the back, a local artist, and thanks for continuing the longest walk. And to all of you, for 10 years I was the lawyer for the Native American Indian Center here, but in the Takawasi, all my relations, all of us are related, and we're related to the earth as well. Go to freepress.org. Action alert, you can check out and learn how to support the walkers. Last word, Rudy.
Last word tonight from 8 to 10 on WCRS. My show is going to feature these guys. So if you want to hear more, 2 hours of Indigenous rights tonight on WCRS. You can listen to WCRSFM.org, locally at 98.3 FM and 92.7 FM. Thanks to Bob and Suzanne. Happy COMFEST.
Let's hear it one more time from the Indigenous people's longest walk. It's just great to have them here. Anybody who's around now and wasn't around when we passed the hat, and go over to the hat and give them some money.